This episode is brought to you by Dogfish Head Craft Brewery. The Grateful Dead and Dogfish Head have gotten the band back together with the release of Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale, a light-bodied pale ale brewed with sustainable Kernza grains, granola, and heaps of good karma for a refreshing brew that's music to your taste buds. Available nationwide. Visit dogfish.com to find Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale in your neck of the woods. Dogfish Head Craft Brewery is located in Milton, Delaware. Please drink responsibly.
We see you getting after your fitness goals. But what about those money goals? You can count on Credit Karma for a clear view of your finances and your progress, helping you see results so you can keep checking off those financial personal bests and find your way to money. Progress never felt so good. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on. Download the app today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to the facility after a much-needed vacation. It is good to see y'all. It's good to be seen. The quarterback is 10 as ever. Chase Daniel back in the building. Chase, besides the morning coffee every day, how's last month been?
It's great. It's great. A lot of family time. Went to Colorado for like 10 days. We celebrated an 11-year anniversary with my wife. We celebrated a 4-year birthday with my daughter Ashton. We had family time. We had my sister.
I love it.
It went fast, but I'm very glad.
Oh, did it? Well, it felt slow.
Because you was working every day.
You look rejuvenated, brother.
I do.
He does. James Jones, you look like you haven't seen a razor in a week.
Do you see me?
Scrub.
That a little scrub. Out your right behind me, though.
That's what we call a man beard.
Right behind me.
Y'all on vacation too.
We took last week off, and we are so glad to be here. A lot to get to. Hopefully you laugh. Hopefully you smile. Hopefully you're entertained on this morning. Hey, let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts coming off a Super Bowl win, also named Super Bowl MVP. But get this, NFL scouts, executives, coaches, they rank the top 10 quarterbacks in the league heading into the season. And if you'll notice, Jalen Hurts' name is not at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, nor 8. He's all the way down there at the 9th best quarterback. Again, we're about 2 weeks away from the first preseason game, and Jalen Hurts, after winning a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, is still finding himself disrespected at 9th, the 9th best quarterback on the list. I can't make sense of it. It's the facility. It's a beautiful morning. Y'all could be watching any show. You're hanging here with us. James Jones, you have an issue with Hurts' 9 ranking.
Yeah, looking at that right there, that's awful.
Oh.
And you can think whatever you want to think about Jalen Hurts, but there should never be a list to where Justin Herbert is in front of Jalen Hurts. I don't really care about what type of talent and all that you're talking about. And then Jaden Daniels is going to be a superstar in this league. I truly believe that. But I cannot put him in front of Jalen Hurts, who's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's had 1 good year. Do I think at the end of this, when it's all said and done, could he possibly, baby? Yes, absolutely. But right now, as we're talking right now, after 1 year, no. And then I see Justin Herbert at 7, who hasn't won a playoff game. This boy been to more Super Bowls than you won playoff games. And we're talking about Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than him. I cannot do that. I think this is disrespectful to Jalen Hurts right here. This is an awful list when you have Jalen Hurts at 9 and those 2 dudes in front of him.
So you view it, because I keep going back to Jalen Hurts 9, obviously top 10 quarterback. I think he should be closer to the 6, 7 spot, personally. So I don't know if it's super disrespectful to have him at 9, because what this list is doing, everyone above him is, I believe, throwing the football more physically talented than him.
Sure.
And so I think that these old school NFL execs, coaches, and scouts, and I tend to be that way, they look at top 10 quarterbacks, James Jones, as how can you throw the football? When the team needs you to make plays with your arm, can you? And Jalen Hurts is more of a new age quarterback where he's willing his team to win. He might do it with his legs. Look, he had 14 rushing touchdowns last year. Now, 11 of them were 1-yard touchdown runs. Mm-hmm. But he gets into the end zone. He had 32 total touchdowns. Now, these same scouts and executives and coaches are saying, hey, he only threw for 2,900 yards. Yeah. In a whole season. He only threw for 18 touchdowns. Now, only 5 interceptions. So a lot of these people within the league, and you guys know better than I do, right? They feel like they're ranking a quarterback based on maybe old school metrics.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. You're probably ranking them as like, hey, look at what he's accomplished. Look at what he's done. Look at what he's done as a leader of that football team. And they've been to 2 Super Bowls. They've won a Super Bowl. They took it away. They took a three-peat away from the Kansas City Chiefs. And so for me, I don't think it's like crazy disrespectful to have him at 9. Do I think he needs to be moved up a spot or 2? Yeah. But then you get into it, well, what about Goff, who's been to a Super Bowl? What about, and so I can see that. The crazy thing to me, and I don't want to derail this conversation, is Baker Mayfield's 10. He made it on the top.
But my only thing, too, though, because if that was true, then
I'm guessing that has to be,
but
right?
I'm just saying if that was true, he wouldn't even be in the top 10. Because he doesn't throw the ball as good as Aaron Rodgers, as old as Aaron Rodgers is. He don't throw the ball as good as a lot of them dudes. What he does do is win and get to Super Bowls. However it looks, he wins and gets the Super Bowl. And when you got dudes like Justin Herbert in front of him who hasn't won a playoff game, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? However you want your quarterback to look.
If it's based on how well you throw the football, I get that. But the problem is this list isn't a survey of the top 10 throwers of the football at the quarterback. It's the top 10 quarterback. So to me, it's absolutely asinine that Jalen Hurts isn't in the top 5. And I would suggest at minimum, bare minimum, top 6. And for me, it's very simple. Jalen Hurts, he wins at a high clip. And I understand that winning and losing, you might suggest, isn't necessarily a quarterback stat. But yes, the Eagles are a good team. There have been a lot of good teams. The Niners in 23 were a really good team. Brock Purdy and that Niners team couldn't get it done. They lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, year 24. The Baltimore Ravens in 2023 were a really good team. Number 1 defense in all of football. Lamar Jackson couldn't get it done at home in the AFC Championship game, losing to the Chiefs. So you can't just tell me, well, Jalen Hurts has such a good team. There have been a lot of good teams that fall short and been a lot of good teams where the quarterback isn't Super Bowl MVP. Ask Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp how that went when Matthew Stafford finally won. For me, I got Jalen Hurts at 5. And it's simple. And I want to show y'all just a simple reason as to why and metric as to why. Jalen Hurts, regular season All-Pro, he's checked that off. Super Bowl, he's checked that off. Super Bowl MVP, he's checked that off. Disregard Pat, disregard Lamar, disregard Josh Allen. Assume they're all better than Jalen Hurts. Fine, they have something Hurts doesn't have, a regular season MVP. But Jaden Daniels, you ain't got no All-Pros. You ain't got no Super Bowl appearances. You definitely ain't got no Super Bowl MVPs. Justin Herbert, just stop. You have nothing that Jalen Hurts has except a 6'5" stature. Jared Goff, at least you've been to a Super Bowl, but you ain't got no All-Pros. You have no Super Bowl win nor Super Bowl MVP. And Joe Burrow, you don't got an All-Pro, a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl win, or a Super Bowl MVP. So how can you list any of these quarterbacks ahead of Jalen Hurts? If you're just talking about who throws the ball best from the pocket, different conversation, a conversation I can concede to. But if you're talking about who's the best quarterback, Jalen Hurts is better than all of those quarterbacks. If you want to suggest Joe Burrow, I will listen to that conversation, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this desk, I've probably been the biggest, what would you say, against Jalen?
Critic. I don't want to do that. I'll say
ain't
critic.
a hater,
I'll say
critic.
I'll say
because I was raised in sort of the old school NFL offenses where Sean Payton, Drew Brees, you got to throw the ball to win, Andy Reid, stuff like this. And so when you rank quarterbacks, you're like, hey, man, this is a guy I want to start my team with because he can, when most games come down to it in 2 minutes, he can lead my team back to victory because I believe in his arm, not only his head, his mental, getting in and out of the right place. We see that. And you made the point, and I think it was good, and it was sort of one of my counterpoints, but I concede to you is, Jalen Hurts is surrounded by a lot of superstars. There have been a lot of teams that have been placed around him, and Howie Roseman deserves a lot of credit for that. But for me, I keep going back to the Eagles' average margin of victory. Okay, they're blowing people out. After they started 2-2, their average margin of victory when they over their final 16 victories, 15.1 points per game. Jalen Hurts never needed to throw the football, and I think you saw a clear and concise plan from old offensive coordinator Kellen Moore after they started 2-2. I don't have the stats up here. I don't have this graphic because it's my first day back. I don't have all that stuff, right? I'm just going to talk to you at home. They averaged 40 passing attempts a game in the first 4 games, and they were 2-2. Clear and concise plan. Let's go to running the football with Saquon Barkley, running the football with Jalen Hurts, running more RPO stuff. They averaged, I think, over their final 16 victories, 23 to 24 pass attempts a game. So I can't say, hey, he should be higher than that when you're only affecting the game 24 to 25 times with your arm.
Yeah. Fair. And I said hater because I've been a hater up here with you. I have.
Critic is better.
When we watch Jalen Hurts, critic, hater, it's all the same to me. When we watch Jalen Hurts, that's what jumped off on the screen. You're not really winning the games for your team. But a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP
you have
changed all that. You can't keep bumping people in front of him now, and this man has beat the baddest man in the world in Patty, outplayed him, and won the Super Bowl. So that changed everything for me. So now these Herberts and Jaden Daniels after 1 year, and like you say, you can even talk about the Joe Burrows. You can't just throw them in front of him now after what he's done. You just can't do that.
Well, from the NFL to the NBA, LeBron James seen at Lakers Summer League just recently at a game on Saturday, and there are obvious questions about his future in L.A., including report that 4 teams have contacted his agent, Rich Paul, about interest in a trade. LeBron James was asked if he wanted to discuss his future, and he said, quote, "I ain't got nothing to talk about." James Jones, LeBron James saying, "I ain't got nothing to talk about." Should this be Bron's last year with the Lakers?
Nothing, Bron. You ain't got nothing to say. Yes, it should be his last year. I mean, Bron, what, he going to play 2 more, I would say? You know what I mean? So if I'm the Lakers, I'm building around Luka. I traded for Luka to bring Luka over here so Luka could be our franchise player. I am building around Luka. This should be LeBron James' last year as a Laker, and if he wants to go somewhere else and to try to chase another championship, do that. But as for the Lakers, I think this should be LeBron's last year. They picked up his option. I think he should go out there and play. He's going to get 1 more year with his son, Bronny, and this should be his last year as a Laker, and you build around Luka. Because this Lakers team right now, to be honest with you, I don't know how far they're going to go, but I don't think it's going to be a championship. And I think this should be LeBron's last year there, and you start building around Luka right now.
I think it has to be LeBron's last year in L.A. if the Lakers want to win anything of significance. You can't win a championship right now, or at least it would be very hard to win with Luka and LeBron on the court at the same time. Because neither of them at this point are defensive juggernauts. LeBron's not a defensive juggernaut because of his age, and he's only going to get older. And Luka's not a defensive juggernaut just because he hasn't been. So if you're looking at the construction of NBA champions the last several years, if you look at the backcourt, you got dudes that can play defense.
Yep.
If you think about the OKC Thunder, they rolled out a whole squad of cats that can play defense. And then coming off the bench, cats that can play defense. Even if you ask, wait, why did Case and Wallace start in the NBA Finals and Hardenstein move to the bench? Because of defense. Now, it didn't necessarily pan out because he was only averaging 5.5 points a game, but it was a defensive move. If you look at the Pacers, everybody on there, regardless of how their offense could go, outside of you could suggest maybe Tyrese Halliburton could strap you up on defense, from Nembhard to Naismith to Miles Turner, had an atrocious offensive series in the NBA Finals, but he could play defense. If you're rolling out onto the court with LeBron James, because of his age, he's no longer a defensive juggernaut. Luka Doncic, because of his athleticism, he's not a defensive juggernaut. Then you have Austin Reeves, because of his athleticism, he can't play no defense. That's 60% of the roster that can't play no defense. It's just an imbalanced roster. So this has to be LeBron's last year if the Lakers actually want to win some games. You want to sell tickets, keep LeBron there as long as possible, but I don't see the coexistence of LeBron and Luka and championship. One of them, the other, but not both in a championship.
I agree with you. And I'm not going to go as far as saying maybe this should be LeBron's last year in general. Because if you do go separate, because you say maybe 2 years to play, if you go somewhere else, where's he going to go? How's that 1 year dynamic? What kind of team, right? But for me, with the Lakers, like, you opted into a $52 million player option. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think this is probably going to be his last year. And for the Lakers' point of view, I think that's really important because Luka is still young. Now, he's got face of the league, face of the franchise written all of him. He's their next statue player, right? But they're clearly moving on with him. You want Luka around LeBron for as long as you possibly can have them, because you want to teach him how to prepare, what to eat, how to take care of your body. It's almost like it's the passing of the torch of the superstars. Now, they were on the court together this year quite a bit. Now, I do think this roster can make a run one more time at it. When you have Luka and you have LeBron, which LeBron, as a 40-year-old, he played in 70 out of 82 games. It's not like he's some old relic, right? He was 13th in points per game. He averaged 24 points, and he's 6th in assists per game. But I do believe the days of catering to what LeBron wants are over in L.A. And I think with that being the case, look no further than that Craig's dinner. Who was at that dinner? Rob Pelinka, J.J. Redick, Luka's manager, and Luka. There was no LeBron there. They're moving forward with what's in the best interest of this franchise, and they made a crazy, crazy trade at the middle of last year, beginning of last year for Luka. He's their superstar moving forward. If you keep the band together too long, it might hinder the development of Luka.
Well, I think where I agree with you is this, that you have a chance to make a run at it this year if and only if you acquire a two-way player in the starting lineup. But so long as LeBron is there, he's no longer a two-way player in the starting lineup. Luka Doncic, he's not a two-way player. Austin Reeves, he proved in the playoffs, he's not a two-way player. Rui Hachimura is supposed to kind of, to some degree, be a two-way player, but it's not like he's dominant on either end of the floor. He's not a lockdown defender, not that those necessarily exist anymore in the NBA outside of the Lou Dorts of the world, but he's not a lockdown defender, and he's not a prolific scorer. Then DeAndre Ayton, he comes. Who do you replace?
Yeah.
Do you replace Reeves, but they love him because of how young he is and his promise? Do you replace LeBron James? Well, that's the conversation we're all sitting here having now. Do you replace Rui? That was, I believe, what they were trying to do in trying to acquire Wiggins. If they didn't and don't acquire Andrew Wiggins, I don't think they're making a run because they lack a two-way player. And who in the world, viewers at home, who's going to guard Ant-Man? Who's going to guard Kevin Durant? Who's going to guard Ja Morant? Who's going to guard SGA? Who's going to guard J-Dub? Now that J-Dub has proven he can score 40 points in the finals. Say you make it to the NBA Finals. Who's going to guard Brunson? Who's going to guard Jaylen Brown? Who's going to guard the dominant offensive players that every team has? The Lakers do not have one player that you can throw at the dominant offensive players. They have to acquire somebody, but if you have LeBron and Luka, that limits the pieces you can use to acquire that somebody.
Yeah, and I think it's very clear, though, this is Luka's team. I think it's very clear that's what the Lakers are saying. When they made the trade, Brown coming out saying, I ain't got nothing to say, because he probably ain't in on these meetings, Chase. It's true. And he was in on a lot of these meetings. But not only that, you cannot win a championship with what the Lakers have right now. So you're going to have to either move Bron or this Bron last year to bring in more players to surround Luka. That's the only way you're going to make a run. And you traded for him knowing that. You traded for him knowing, man, LeBron is older. He is not going to be able to really carry a team no more. We need to get a guy in here that can, and that is Luka. Build around Luka. This is LeBron James last year. We should all enjoy Bron playing basketball for however long he's going to play, but this should be his last year as a Laker.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's $10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Hey, Caitlin Clark, 14 points, 13 dimes, and 5 steals yesterday, people. 5 steals. In case you missed it, Caitlin Clark is back and as good as ever, at least when it comes to dropping dimes. They beat Paige Beckers. You know she a beast out of UConn as well. And Clark, she's been under a huge microscope since she joined the W. So we wanted to take a look at the bigger picture of it all. Caitlin Clark, an absolute phenom, star of a nation, a superstar in this generation. James, is it fair to say that Caitlin Clark has lived up to the hype?
Absolutely. I mean, I got a WNBA pass now. You know what I'm saying? I like all the WNBA players, man, but, I got it because I wanted to see, the young phenom play. But she's like that. And, I mean, this year she's been injured, and, she's having a little down year. But Caitlin Clark makes everybody around her better. She's like one of the really good quarterbacks in the National Football League. She makes everybody around her better. Obviously, she could shoot the air out of the basketball. She's exciting. But if you look at what she did last year as a rookie, it was phenomenal. I mean, we're talking about triple-doubles here and there. We're talking about 10-plus assists a game. I mean, she is truly like that. She is a treat to watch. But she's absolutely has lived up to the hype. And she's only going to continue to get better and stronger and continue to make her team better. But Caitlin Clark and his Fever team, I think they got a shot this year, too, to make some noise, too. But she's absolutely lived up to the hype, for sure.
It's hard for me to answer that question right now because of how great the hype is. If I had to answer it, I would say yes. But for me, James, when I'm thinking about Caitlin Clark in sports, I'm thinking about Naomi Osaka's. I'm thinking about Sha'Carri Richardson's. I'm thinking about Simone Biles's. I'm thinking about, and that's just comparing her in that elite class and her gender, the superstar women that have come out in the last 5 to 10 years, if you will. To live up to the hype, I need to see eventually championship or championships. In the case of Simone Biles, Sha'Carri Richardson, Naomi Osaka, medals, slams. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So though Caitlyn has been dominant, as it pertains to ticket sales, lived up to the hype, of course. As it pertains to people subscribing to the League Pass, lived up to the hype. Viewership lived up to the hype. Even individual performance lived up to the hype. But there comes a point in time for me, probably in 2 years from now, where I need to see a championship. I agree. I need to see an MVP. I need to see either an individual greatness accolade or a collective team accolade to suggest you lived up to the hype. When Bron took the Cavs to the finals in 2007, though they got swept by the Spurs, and you know how dominant those Spurs teams ended up being over the course of that tenure, that to me was living up to the hype. Yeah. It was carrying a team of Zydrunas Ilgauskas. It was carrying that team, Anderson Varejao. It was carrying that team to the NBA Finals that said to me, the chosen one is here.
Yeah, I agree.
I need to see that, but obviously from ticket sales chase and all that, she's lived up. She's exceeded the hype.
Yeah, I mean, she is the hype. Like, let's be real about it. Like, I'm not being facetious when I say, like, she put the WNBA on the map. Like, it was already there. But, guys, like, just look at the pure TV ratings, because we're in a ratings business. If you ain't get ratings, see you later. The leagues might implode, right? That's what she get. Teams with the Fever, when they're on TV, ratings are 1.5 million people are watching. Every other game that Caitlin Clark and the Fever are on, 850,000. Double. Almost double the amount of people tune in. That's what the league wants. That's what people want. They want to watch her, right? And like as a rookie last year, she was incredible. First in assists per game, first in three-pointers made per game, seventh in points per game. I would say back then she started living up to the hype. She's made America tune in to women's basketball.
But is that, Chase, for us on TV, obviously that matters most, right? Ratings, et cetera. But now let's remove our television hats and let's go back to our athlete hats. 14 years in the NFL, 9 years in the NFL, 4 years in the NFL. We didn't care about ratings. When James, you suiting up for the Packers, we weren't, man, I wonder how many people watched tonight. It was, did we win? And did we win it all? For me, as great as Caitlyn is, she didn't win a chip in college. As great as Caitlyn is, there was no noise made in the playoffs last year. As great as Caitlyn is, I believe their team is sitting at 11-10 this year, 7-5 when she plays. As great as Caitlyn is, eventually we need to see medals, trophies, hardware. Eventually we need to see those things. It's only her second year. But I just think it's a little premature to say that she's lived up to the hype because the hype was so great. We're talking about ratings. That's not hype to me.
Yeah,
to me, she got to win.
She's meant so much more to the league in general. Now, when you talk about her, she's not only living to the hype as a spectacle, right? For people to get to the stands, put people's butts in stands, all this stuff, merchandise sales, ticket sales, stuff like that. She's finding ways to get better on the court. Now, she's been hurt, so you can't really use these 12 games, I think, that she's played this season. She's averaging 16, 9, and 5. But when you are a league that maybe hasn't struggled but hasn't exploded until Caitlin Clark has come in, that's what you want. Now, if you're talking from a pure athlete standpoint, sure, they went out and they got Mizzou great Sophie Cunningham, right? The enforcer of Caitlin Clark. She went to Mizzou, same time I was, right? They've added help around her. They have to continue to build it. I think a championship will come. She's too good for it not to.
Yeah. And not only that, for me, though, it's all about how she's playing. If you look at her last year, she was phenomenal as a rookie. You know, you look at her this year, the way she's playing. I mean, when she's on the basketball court, it's an exciting basketball game.
Always.
You know what I mean? And her team are in a lot of basketball games, and a lot of it has to do with her play. And then not only that, how people have played her and the success that she's still having. I mean, every single time she steps on the basketball court, I mean, they're picking her up for 94 feet. And she's still having a whole lot of success. So for me, I'm saying she's living up to the hype because I've been watching her play game after game after game. And when she is on the basketball court, she's exciting. It's an exciting basketball game, and she is good. And I truly believe a championship will come because they are going to put a good team
But that's when I can, to me, James, answer the question, whether even you win it, but getting there. Because it's 20-20 living up to the hype, the record last year. It's 11-10 winning up to the hype, the record this year. Is 31-30 living up to the hype, her record over 2 years through 60 games. Is that living up to... Now, as an individual talent, putting butts in seats, and Caitlin Clark is absolutely amazing. Obviously, to some degree, I'm advocating for the devil, though the devil needs no advocate. So to some degree, I'm just trying to further this conversation, but is it living up to the hype until you see confetti in some degree?
But she was the #1 overall pick last year.
Yeah.
And she took and they started 0-9, I believe. And she took that team to the playoffs.
It wasn't a good team.
You know what I'm saying? This year, she's been up and down with injuries and all that, but they're going to be in the playoffs again. So you came to a team that you was the #1 overall pick, and back-to-back years you took your team to the playoffs. Eventually, I think she's going to get over that hump. But watching her play, the hype is real.
Yeah.
She's only played 52 regular season games. I mean, like, let's let it culminate, ruminate some more. She's going to continue getting better.
No doubt about that.
Meet the most capable CR-V Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
Let's get to a blitz meeting. Hall of Famer Randy Moss says Justin Jefferson is on pace to arguably the best wide receiver ever. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase is the one who says he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Remember, they're former teammates together at LSU. I want to start with the wide receiver. James, best wide receiver in the league right now in your mind. If it's just those two, Chase, JJ.
I mean, what y'all say earlier, chicken and eggs?
Chicken and eggs.
He didn't even know it. He's using it.
It doesn't apply here, but
it really doesn't.
It is Justin Jefferson, in my humble opinion. Justin Jefferson could go everywhere on the field when you talk about just total receiver, release game, route game, yards after catch, able to make people miss. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson, but with Jamar Chase is that.
No wrong answers. No wrong answers. I've always said it's Jamar Chase.
Yes,
like, literally.
You've been a Chase guy.
Since day one. James will say. Yeah. Then after Jamar Chase went for the Triple Crown, everybody's like, oh, Jamar is better. I've always thought he was better. It's just because what Jamar can do with the ball in his hands.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like, if you're talking routes, I'm with you. It's Justin Jefferson. If you're talking about line him up anywhere, slide outside Justin Jefferson. But as a defender, the dude that's harder to tackle in the open field is the dude that worries me more.
Chase goes. If you switched him, you think he still has the same amount of success that Justin Jefferson has with the Vikings?
With the scheme?
Probably not. Probably because I don't think what he can do as a route runner, I think Justin Jefferson is better.
That's why.
I think I like JJ. I like Justin Jefferson because I look at it, who would I rather throw to? Now, both of them are great. There's really no wrong
way to look at it.
I would rather throw to JJ. I know JJ can line up outside, inside, at the Z. I know he can work safeties. I know, and Jamar can do that.
Yeah.
And Jamar's great with the ball in his hands. But if you just overall target, I think he's got a bigger range. I don't feel like that 4th and 18 catch. Jamar Chase, I don't know if he's making that play. There's really no wrong answer. But if I'm a quarterback and I'm looking at JJ, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, there's really. Can you put anybody else in this conversation? Can you put A.J. Brown in it?
You absolutely can put A.J. Brown in the conversation.
That conversation?
Man, listen.
A.J. Brown? I mean, he liked that. Brown. But those two.
Now, A.J. is more like Chase.
So let me break this down. This is the quarterback play. When you just line up at the X, what A.J. Brown does, and that DB is inside leverage, and he knows that you only got 3 routes.
Slant, go,
he thinks, because he inside, you got go, you got a curl, and you might have a little stop route. And you still getting busy? Ain't no motion, ain't no nothing. I'm right here, come on. Yeah. You know,
if you put A.J.
Brown
with
like
Burrow or the Minnesota Vikings scheme, he might go crazy.
Yeah, he gets crazy there either way. All right, moving on. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, they were ranked ahead as the 4th best quarterback in the league, according to executives and scouts. Who would you rather have, Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow? Lamar was ranked 3rd, Joe Burrow ranked 4th. Quarterback.
Lamar was 3rd, Burrow 4th.
No, Burrow 3rd.
Burrow was 3rd. No, that's what I was saying. Burrow was 3rd.
Yeah.
Lamar, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan.
Yes, you are.
As you guys know.
Yes, you are.
But I'm gonna go Lamar here. I'm gonna go Lamar for a couple reasons. Mainly the one, Lamar can get you out of trouble in any type of pocket. Joe Burrow is really good at Lamar can run. And if you do that and you look at how he's changed
I didn't expect that from you.
games
I like that.
with his legs, and he's a 2-time MVP. Now the playoff was right, but I think it's Lamar right now.
Man, you know, it's crazy what a month off will do.
I don't even know what I said a couple months ago. What I be saying a couple months ago?
I'm saying I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. I am going Lamar too, man. I mean, and you know, as a defender, when you're able to run, and now what we watching Lamar do in the pocket, throwing the football, 2-time MVP, team always in the playoffs. I'm taking
Lamar's gotten better throwing the football through.
Correct. That's why, that's a really good point, actually. Joe Burrow hasn't gotten better as a runner, but he hasn't necessarily need to get better as a runner. Lamar was always a better runner who closed the gap as a passer. That's why I'm going with Lamar. Lamar Jackson, he's always there, too. Like, you know, Joe Burrow, these last 2 seasons have just thrown me off. You missed the playoffs last year. You're hurt 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we swept on it.
Yeah. Joe got to come on now.
Come on now.
I'm surprised. I want to know.
It's good for me, right? I look tan. I'm happy for now.